YouTube, what it do? There's A1 from the Big Dub Network, where we strive for the W's and we learn from the L's. And today we have a lot of L's, double-digit L's to be exact. This is the most unoptimistic record prediction following the schedule release that you're gonna see, probably for anybody that is a fan of the Washington Commanders. I saw the schedule. I saw our opponents. I had more faith before they put a time and a date on it. Just say that. Just sitting here looking at it now, how it all lays out, it all plays out. It's not too many gimmies. And if you want a successful team, to compete and contend for a championship, you don't want a lot of gimmies anyway. You want a lot of games where you can prove and show your dominance. And we have those games. We have those opportunities, but whether or not we're able to do that, that'll be in question because I have little faith. I have little faith. This is the most unoptimistic schedule prediction you will see this offseason for the Washington Commanders. I have little faith, and we're going to start from the top, go all the way to the bottom. I'll probably put a couple cute L's and W's in here throughout the video. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and I know you're going to feel some type of way about this. Some fans are going to be like, man, we're going to win more games than that, man. We're not going to lose to them. We're not going to win against them. I mean, it's a prediction. It's a gut feeling that I have. And I'm not going to get too high on my team. Don't get high off the supply. And I'm definitely not going to get high off this team. Not this offseason. I'm going to play it slow. I'm going to play it slow. You set the bar low, you give yourself an opportunity to shoot high. And the bar is going to be very low. I'm going to compare the record that we ultimately come out with here. I'm going to compare that to where we may end up in the draft. Right now, we're getting mocked for a top 5, mostly a top 5, top 10 pick for next year. I've seen more top 5 than top 10. But, yeah, we're pretty much going to be slated for a top 10 pick based off this prediction here. So let's get right into it. We have the Cardinals. We're going to beat the Cardinals. If we don't beat the Cardinals, we're in for a long season. If we don't beat the Cardinals, I think from that point on, we should probably tank. We should tank. I don't think we would because, we have a coaching staff that could possibly be gone after any week, after any loss, especially with a new ownership coming in, if that goes through. And it's a possibility. I don't foresee that happening because I think our coaching staff is pretty much safe unless they completely bomb. I'll be able to tell at the end if this is a complete bomb or if our coaching staff can survive this season. And a lot of back-to-back losses. We have a couple tough stretches. So, impulsive decisions can be made by ownership groups to just throw away everything. So we're starting off with the Cardinals. We're going to beat the Cardinals. We have to beat the Cardinals. I just feel like Airbnb is going to run the fucking score up. If they give us the opportunity to score 45 points, we're going to score 45 points on the Cardinals. We're going to send a message to the Broncos right before we go to Denver. We're going to send a message. If the Cardinals allow us to score 45, we're going to score 45. And then we're going to go to Broncos land, Bronco Nation, and lose. We're going to probably score 30 to 40 against the Cardinals, and we're going to go to Denver and completely bomb and score less than 20. We're going to lose against Denver. I just foresee them having a better coaching staff, a better team overall this year that's able to perform a little bit better than they were last year. I see them being a lot better team, and we're going to lose to the Broncos. So that's one L. Bills, we're going to lose to the Bills. Just plain and simple, we're going to lose to the Bills. I know that their offense is taking a step back with the loss of Dayball, but with the quarterback that they have, the offense that they able to put on the field, I just see us having continue to have problems with third down. We've improved one of our weakest parts of our defense, which is the secondary, and which is a pivotal part of third downs. We've improved that, but I don't know if we're ready to take that next step just yet. So I think we're going to lose to the Bills. Then we're going to go to Philly and lose again. So that we're dropping 3 in a row. We're going to drop 3 in a row. So we're 1-3 at this point. 1-3, and it's not looking good. It's not looking good, but what we can say is, we're on a short week. The next week we get the Bears at home. We beat the Bears. We're 2-3. We beat the Bears at home, short week, Thursday night. Young quarterback versus young quarterback. I think our defense can weather the storm. I'm not sure if we're still scoring points at this point. I'm going to be interested to see what we can do against that Eagles defense as far as with our offense, and also that Bills defense. But more so the Eagles defense, being that we'll have to face them later in the season again, and we'll be on the road. I just don't know if our offense is going to be ready to travel. So right now I see us at 2-5 against when we have Chicago Bears coming to our building and we get that dub. Then I foresee us going to Atlanta. I plan on going to this game. Once the schedule is released, me and my brothers talk. I'm like, let's go to Atlanta, see that game. So I plan on being at this game. And with my presence being in the building, I think we're going to lose. We're going to travel to Atlanta, and we're going to lose. They're going to run the clock on us. They're going to have a powerful running game. They're going to run the clock on us. We're going to make a couple mistakes that keep us from catching up when we finally do have the ball. A couple mistakes, get them a couple short fields. I know they are playing with the young quarterback, but at this point with the running game that they put on the field, it's not really important who that quarterback is, just as long as they're dynamic and able to make plays when they're called upon. So at this point we are 2-4 because we go down to the Falcons in Atlanta, and I plan on being at that game in Atlanta. So we're 2-4. Next week we go to the Giants, Meadowlands. We're gonna lose. So we're 2-5. We're 2-5. We're gonna lose to the Giants on the road. For some reason we can't beat the Giants. We can't even beat them when we have extra weeks to plan for them. Will that change this year? Maybe. The toughest game for me to watch last year was the Giants, second game against the Giants following a bye week. It was tough for me to watch. I'm like, we had an extra week to plan against the team we just played. We just played these guys. Why can't we be consistent with our offense? Why are we, struggling? Why do we only have 12 points? So we're going to go to the Meadowlands and we're going to lose against the Giants. Next week, we're going to have the Eagles come to Washington and whoop our ass. We're going to lose to the Eagles at home. We're 2-6. It's getting ugly. It's getting ugly. We are playing decent, but we just can't get over the hump. Our defense isn't quite strong enough to drag that offense along. I believe our young quarterback is struggling at this point. He's been put in tough positions. We're in week 8. He's played against the Eagles twice. He went on the road to Atlanta and the Giants back-to-back and struggled. I foresee that happening. So at this point, we are 2-6. It's getting ugly. Next week, we go to the Patriots up in New England. Patriots, too, in my opinion, they're struggling as well. They get back on track by beating us in New England. I foresee New England outplaying us on my birthday just by a tad, maybe a field goal late. They're just able to pull it out. They're able to pull a win out on us, and at this point we're 2-7. 2-7. Next week we go across country to Seattle. This is gonna be an ugly one. I believe we get destroyed. We're 2-8. I believe we get destroyed at Seattle and become 2-8. It's traveling like that. Um, I just don't have a lot of confidence in us being able to go across the country, pull off a win against a strong Seahawks team, if I may add. They've improved in a lot of ways. Geno may just be playing great at this point once again. Seahawks are a decent, very decent team. I see them making the playoffs again this year. So we're gonna go to Seattle and lose again. At this point, we're 2-8. If we haven't put the plan in to tank at this point, then someone should be talking to all the coaches and all the players like, look, let's chalk this one up. We got to go get the top pick. And I will be ecstatic if that turned out to be the case. But I'm not entirely sure. Next week, week 11, November 19th, we get the Giants in Washington. This is going to be a big game for who? Not us. The Giants beat us again. I can't foresee any differences as far as, why we're able to beat the Giants last year versus this year. I mean, I feel like we should have beat them twice last year. What's different now than it was different last year? You might say EB, couple improvements on the offense, and defense. I just don't see us being able to pull that off against the Giants. Giants are greatly improved as well, offensively and defensively. And David Jones, I don't think he's anything special. Definitely don't think he's anything special. But what I do think is he'll be able to not make the mistakes, and they'll be able to pull these close games out that back in the day they would have lost because he made so many mistakes. So the big game on Turkey Day, Washington Commanders travel to Dallas, and in a close one, we lose again. We are 2-10, and at this point, we've roughly lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row. I almost said 8, but I'm about to say 8 because the next week after Turkey Week, December 3rd, at Washington against the Dolphins. The one thing that could save us in this point, the one thing that could save us at this point is Dolphins not really having a quality quarterback. Being so late in the season, I don't know if Tua can make it this far. So I'm going to double back. I'm not going to say 8 losses in a row. I'm actually going to give us this dub against the Dolphins. We're going to beat the Dolphins in Washington. Reason number 1 is I don't know who's going to be throwing the ball to those fast cats that they have on offense. And I think our defense can compete with their offense if they don't have a quality quarterback. And I think our defense is much better than their defense at this point, even with the addition of Ramsey. So I believe going into the bye, we beat the Dolphins to go 3-10 prior to our bye. The bye week, we may even come out of the bye week with a loss. I would not be surprised. In the past, anything happens. We may lose the bye week to make us play 18 games this year, and we lost more than any other team this year. But we do get past the bye week to face the Rams in L.A. For us being 3-10 at this point, I think we can go to LA and beat LA. The Rams, they gave so much capital up to acquire so many big names that they just fall apart this far back in the season, man. They're resting the superstars, They're protecting the investments, which is smart. It's very smart. So we're able to rob them of a win. So we go to LA and get the dub. And at this point, we are 4-10. Yes, 4-10. So after LA, we travel to the Jets, the new and improved Jets, with a $70 million quarterback at this point, and that's the day before Christmas. And Santa Claus is bringing me nothing because I think my stocking's fully cold, and it's full of coal, and I'm getting a big old L for Christmas from the Jets. We're gonna lose against the Jets, unfortunately. And at this point, we're 4-11. Week 16, we had a bye week. Yes, we're 4-11. We didn't make it through the tough times. We had a couple tough stretches, a couple losing streaks, and we weren't really able to get the ball rolling. Our offense never clicked. They're doubting EB at this point. They're definitely doubting Run. They want his head on a platter. But I do see a way that they can survive this, and I'm going to talk about that briefly. So we're 4-11 when we go back home and have San Francisco come to us. 49ers, it's almost like it's impossible for us to beat them. It doesn't matter who their quarterback is, who their running backs are, who their wide receivers are, who their defensive tackles are, who their linebackers are, who their cornerbacks are. It seems like when we play the 49ers, their coach is going to coach the best game of his life and make sure that we don't beat them. So we're not going to beat them. Anybody that thinks we're going to beat the 49ers, just stop now. We're not going to beat them. It doesn't matter if Purdy's back, if Darnold's playing, Trey Lance, and, they may have Baker Mayfield at this point, Cam Newton, Joe Montana. Even as old as Joe Montana is, if he played quarterback for the 49ers right now, he will probably beat us in week 17. So we are 4-11, 4-12. We're 4-12, 16 games in. Dallas Cowboys at home. 4-12 at home against Dallas Cowboys, week 18. They have to be determined. TBD, to be determined. And this is put in place just in case, there's important playoff positioning, standing possibilities based off of this game here. I don't foresee that for us. Of course, I could see a world where Dallas is, playing for the number 1 seed. They're playing for maybe a playoff spot in general, and they got to beat us to get in. Win and they get in, or win and they get home field. Some of that nature. I think the Cowboys will be quality this year, but for us, we could possibly play poopers. We're pooping on their parade, so we are the poopers. We can play the position of poopers. But our coaching staff, our organization has become smart enough to, new ownership is in place. The drawings of the stadium has been created. The location of the stadium is known. Let's go lose this game horribly, 60-0. Let's go lose this game. Go into the offseason knowing at 1 or 2 that we could possibly get the first overall pick, best quarterback in the draft. And, that franchise quarterback that we've been longing for could ultimately be dropped in our laps. Whether that's Caleb Williams or any other top prospects at this point, I would be hesitant to put anybody else back there from UNC. But with the Drake kid that's highly talented and highly rated at this point, we'll get an opportunity to get one of those guys because we're going to go 4-13. When this started, I thought we would get 5 wins. No, we're not going to get 5 wins. We'll be 4-13. Ugly. It sounds bad, but if you think about it in the future, we will turn this thing around, and it may all start with that top draft pick that we acquire by having this horrible record after we were given this tough schedule. I really think this is a tough schedule, and maybe we pull off 3 or 4 more of these unexpected wins, but if so, that's only giving us 8 wins. So we're still 8-9, and that's what I do not want. Would I be surprised? No. We've been stuck in mediocrity for years. We've been running in place for years. And if it happens again, it's not likely that we're going to be able to improve a lot. But 4-13, man, the realest, most unoptimistic prediction of a schedule this off season will give you people. Leave your comments in the comment section. I know some people are not going to agree with this. I know some people that's going to say, damn, you gave us 4 wins. Tua might be playing in week 13. We'll get routed if that's the case. Maybe LA is back to their championship roots. This is a team that's 1 season removed from winning the Super Bowl. Maybe they're back to we don't beat those 2 teams before the bye and after the bye. And at that point, we're 2-15. We're guaranteed the number 1 pick. I don't foresee anybody being worse than that. I don't even think the Cardinals can outdo that 2-15 because maybe they can go 1-16. Maybe. Or maybe they beat us and we go 1-16. Think about it, man. But like I said at the beginning, of course I want us to be in the Super Bowl this year. Of course I want us to compete for a playoff spot. I just don't want to be stuck in the middle, man. I get tired of being stuck in the middle. Be bad so we can really get a generational talent like Chase Young, or go out there and compete, and hopefully Sam Howell can show the world that he's our quarterback moving forward, and that'll be a beautiful thing, man. And then we can, next off season we're doing big things. One of our defensive ends are going to be gone next off season, but maybe both of them. So, but in the future we'll be doing big things. But I do think we have everything in place, but a lot of questions at the same time. Media's down on us, understandably. They're always down on us. It sounds like I'm down on us too. And to be completely honest with you, I kind of am. Like I said, I'm not going to get high off the supply this offseason. I'm going to sit back and patiently wait it out. And people going to see me, you down the team, man. No hop on now. When we 6-1, when we 10-3, don't hop on it. I want us to be in those positions, but the past can't allow me to think that optimistically. I just can't think in that type of manner right now. But hopefully, one day I sit back and review this. I'll review this at the end of the season. I'll review this. And if I was right, I was right. If I was wrong, I was wrong. But, yes. Okay, I'm coming. I'm doing something, okay? Kids. But 4-13, long season. Hopefully my boy Forbes got a couple picks, though. I know Daniel Jones is on the Forbes list at least once. I can almost guarantee Daniel Jones is on the Forbes list. And also Jalen Hurts. We're going to get Jalen Hurts one time, too. They're going to get to the Forbes list. But 4-13, man, I have little faith in how we can perform this year. I will sit back hoping, but I have little faith in. So this is Dez A1 from the Big Dub Network, and leave your questions and comments in the comment section. Like and subscribe. Do all that fun stuff. Until next time, you know what it is. Peace.